Alright guys, so I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do assemblies in Fusion, which we haven't really done in Sim yet with Fusion. So for this icebreaker candy dispenser, what we're going to try to do is first start with the actual candy piece itself. So I gave you in the assignment a drawing, so if you go to the Schoology assignment you'll find the technical print. So I'm going to start, and I have asked you already to save and share the public link for your Fusion file. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to just call this Candy Dispenser. I'm going to save it. And of course, when you share your public link, you can do that from here, and that'll generate this. That'll generate this link. You can copy it and paste it to my document. But for assemblies, what you have to understand is that this is an assembly file already, okay? So don't start a sketch, all right? Now I know we've done that in the past with all of our other projects in first semester, but don't do that. Because for this, what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to use this new component under this assemble window. And when you do that, this window comes up, and from here you're able to create new components, like for instance the candy, the actual icebreaker candy piece. And I'm going to model that one piece of candy here. I'm going to call it icebreaker. Oops, how do you spell breaker? Breaker. Oh, it's terrible. Breaker candy. There we go. And I'm going to hit OK. Now what you're going to notice is on the left, I have a new component. And do you see this little radio button? That tells me that I'm working on this component. No longer is this activated. This is the assembly. I can actually toggle in between these two. It's hard to see what's happening because I haven't designed anything yet, but you're going to see once I get going here the difference between activating the component versus the assembly. All right? So now that I know that the icebreaker candy piece is activated, now I can hit create sketch, and I'm actually looking right now at the drawing, and I'm going to use revolve, and I'm going to make an icebreaker candy real quick. I'm going to use revolve, so I'm actually, you know what, I know an icebreaker candy has like fillets and all that stuff. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to make it into like a hockey puck. So I'll just make a circle that's equal to the diameter of an icebreaker, which in this case is 0.612, just like that. And then I'm going to extrude it. So I take that back. I'm not going to use revolve. I'm just going to extrude it to the thickness of 0.332, which is one icebreaker. I mean, I can fill at the edges if I want to make it look, sort of like an icebreaker. But I don't know. I'll just guess 0.03. There we go. Perfect. Love it. That's an icebreaker. Okay. So there's my candy piece. Okay. Now, when I want to start to design for my dispenser, I want to go and activate my assembly before creating a new part. This is really important, guys. Click on this radio button, and now you're going to notice that now when I click on new component, let's say I'm going to be making the like the housing. Maybe I'm making like a cylinder that this is going to drop into or something like that. Maybe I'll just call it cylinder. Okay. I'm going to click OK. Notice how this grayed out. It's like ghosted away. I've got a new component. Notice how the radio button has now activated on the cylinder I just created, and it's like a hierarchy, like a parent, and then these are the children underneath the parent. My assembly is still candy dispenser, and now I've got all these parts under here. Okay, so now what I can do is I can actually create my my sketch based off of this. So if I click on the base down here, what I can do is I can create a circle and base it off of this, and I can make it remember I said 35 thousandths, 0.035 should be how much larger the wall should be for clearance. So 0.035, just like that. Maybe that's the wall thickness of my cylinder. Okay, and then what I can do, oops, is maybe make another. I'm building off of this part, I guess, if you know, that makes sense. And then the wall thickness of my my part needs to be also 0.035. When I zoom away, you'll be able to see kind of what I've done. If I kind of go on an angle. So that's the wall. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just extrude this just so you can see what I've done. I'm going to drag that forward. I don't really have a plan on this. I'm just trying to show you. If I zoom to this angle, you can kind of see it's still ghosted because I'm activated on my cylinder. I'm going to activate my assembly. Now you can see both of those parts together with a little bit of clearance. See it? So I can't edit my cylinder because right now my assembly is activated. If I want to edit the cylinder, click on the radio button. Now I can come here and you know, remember your history down here. If I want to edit the cylinder, if I want to change the sketch, I need to activate my cylinder and then double click on this sketch to make my changes. Okay, and then finish the sketch and do all that. Now, word to the wise, listen up. All right, when you're in your assembly, please watch very, very, very carefully. Just because I created these two components, all right, watch what I do. If I come over here and I grab one, oops, look at that, they move. I'm going to hit undo. That's that's something you have to be very careful with because I have not created any joints. So when you go back to your assembly, don't grab anything and move it. All right. And if you do, click undo. All right, because I got to teach you guys how to do your joints with this stuff. So from this point, you know, in your design, everything you do, you know, create new components, but don't drag and move things around. You know, when you're in your assembly, there is a method that I'm going to show you in another video in how to create joints, which is all here. Because if you want things to be able to slide, or if you want things to remain fixed in place, that's going to be really important. So kind of moving on a little bit, if you need to see a little bit more, obviously maybe I want a bottom to this little cylinder so the mint doesn't fall out. I would activate my cylinder. I would maybe notice how my mint kind of ghosts away. I'm going to make a sketch. I'm going to touch that right on the bottom face. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue. Notice how my history repopulates and it goes back to where I was. Now I can continue to design. I'm going to make a, what did I just do? Oh, I'm going to make a circle. I'm going to finish my sketch. I'm going to extrude that circle just like this. Maybe it's a little bottom or something like that. Actually, I don't think I picked all of it. Okay, there's a bottom to it. See, the mint is still inside. It's just kind of grayed out. All right. You know, add some fillets. You know, make it look nice and professional, just like that. Again, I don't have a plan as to what the design of this is. I'm just showing you how you know, you can create assemblies and so on. All right. Now, what you generally want to do with joints is when you click on the assembly, after you have a component or two, what you're going to want to do is you're going to activate the assembly, just like this, and you're going to want to pick one component that you do not want to move, that you don't want to you know, slide or rotate, and you're going to want to right-click on it, and you're going to want to ground it, just like we did back in Inventor days. So, you know, activate the assembly with the radio button, right-click, and ground. So you'll see the little thumbtack, okay, just like an Inventor. Now, if you do that, you're going to notice that I accidentally grounded the icebreaker candy. Oops, let me undo. I should have grounded the cylinder. All right, so once you do that, you're going to notice that it does not move if you try to move it with a left click. The mint, however, does move, so I'm going to undo. Okay, so I think that's the extent to which in this video that I want to show you joints. Okay, now I'm not going to count the mint as a 3D printed part. So when you want to make an additional part, so you know, again, whatever you're trying to do, maybe a cap or something. Now, people that are doing more advanced things, obviously, you know, may want to use revolve or sweep or whatever that might be. But again, just continue to create, you know, a new component, just like this. You know, maybe there's a cap or something that you're going to be creating, just like that. Notice how everything grays away, and my cap is there. I can take a sketch, create it wherever I need to create it, and then you know, just start working from there. Now that 0.035 clearance that I was talking about is just for parts that are supposed to slide and move. If you have a cap or something like that that's supposed to, you know, fit more tightly, then you might want to cut that in half. You know, like let's say I'm making a cap that's supposed to slide on the top here, then in that situation you might want to go, you know, half of that, which is 0.035 divided by 2, 0.018, and you know, that's, again, the 3D printers are kind of a touch and go situation, especially with the Dremels. Sometimes even humidity can have an effect on the you know, and temperature can have an effect on the quality of the prints that come out. So that's why sometimes I'm very hesitant to give you constraints on clearance sizes and such for the 3D printers. So once you have that designed, then you can take it. Remember, you can even extrude in both directions, not just in one direction. So, just like that. So if I wanted that cap to come up and around, that's one way to do it. You know, then if you wanted to put like a lid on top, you could always do like a work axis. Let's do an axis through cylinder, just like that. And then just to show you something from Fusion that you probably learned in Inventor, but maybe it's just new for you in Fusion, you could take and put a work plane through this work axis, just like that. And then you can create a sketch on that, just like that. And then we could try and create like an arc between the endpoint. So if I grab that endpoint, do like a little curved cap. Where's the center of this? And again, I'm not using dimensions because it's for the sake of time in this video. Just want to give you an idea of the revolve and how it's used. So I just to kind of show you the perspective here, I just drew that around the center line, and I can finish that sketch, and hopefully this will revolve. But it doesn't because it's not a closed loop. So I got to go back to the sketch, and I need to just close the loop right there. See, now that's what I like about Fusion is it shows you the loop is closed with this shaded region. So now I'm confident that when I click on revolve that it'll pick it, which it did, and then I can just pick the axis, and you can see it just wraps it around nice and neat, and now I've got a nice little cap, just like that. All right, not really a dispenser, more of a holder, but again, just for demonstration purposes, and in 14 minutes I was able to just design this little, I guess, container. The nice part too is you can use these little eyeballs to, you know, hide temporarily each of these different components. But again, this, don't move it. It moves. That would be bad. Just undo, okay? If you do end up moving it and forgetting to undo, I can help you get it back on. But try not to. I'm going to do that in a separate video. because it's just too much for you guys to learn in one sitting. So, all right, this has hopefully been helpful. I'm going to, I pre-recorded this because I thought it was going to be good to post on YouTube because of the need to reference it again, just because assemblies are so new in Fusion. But the advantage is that we're always working in one file. We don't have to worry about file management like we used to in Fusion. And yeah, I just think it's just all around a good upgrade to the software. So thanks for listening, and get to work.